Do you ever feel stuck or feel like you can't get ahead for some reason? Well, today's video is all about being honest with yourself as being the first crucial step to really transforming your life. A lot of times in life, I felt the need to not be honest with myself and not knowing that I wasn't doing that. For the longest, it was hard for me to just journal, and I began to start journaling a few years back where I wasn't even being completely honest with myself in my own journaling, where nobody was reading this, but it was just extremely uncomfortable just writing it myself. I found myself selectively writing certain details about what I was going through at the time. And for a lot of us, we tend to focus more so on the negative or the things that are not going right. And that's mostly what I would write about, along with some moments of gratitude. But I would just kind of just express how I was feeling. And I was constantly just justifying or rationalizing my situation in the sense of trying to blame others for my failures, or blaming others because I wasn't further on in life, or, blaming just employers, or blaming my job, or just blaming different people in my life because I didn't want to own up to the reality that I wasn't doing what it took to be the person that I wanted to be. And in other words, I wasn't being obedient to what God wanted me to be. I was constantly just running from it, even though I was justifying myself saying, man, I'm working hard, I'm focusing on what I need to do, or, I'm just really being a steward of my time. Still, there was something missing, and it really started to hit me on this journey of transformation where I began to just embrace honesty with myself. And that happened through a lot of uncomfortable conversations and experiences that had to happen, which led me to sharing, my insights with you all. And use that example even for yourself, and understand that those feelings of being uncomfortable, or just even being selective with yourself about things, that is completely normal. But recognize that and continue to move forward with just writing down different things about yourself in an honest and objective way, and not in a way that is going to continue to give you a false self-esteem or a false sense of confidence, but truly take those exercises of just writing it down on paper in regards to what are things that I'm going through, what are the things that I want to accomplish, or where do I want to be a few years down the road from now. And I found journaling with an honest notion very liberating, and I'm sure that you guys will find that exercise helpful too. I also found, as men specifically, it's hard for us to be honest with ourselves because it may not look like what the world wants it to look like. And in regards to masculinity, that's a term being used and thrown around so often, but we feel as men that we can't express ourselves or even be vulnerable. And those are other elements of honesty, where there's going to be times where you feel macho or tough to the core, where you feel like you can take on the world, and then there's times where you don't feel that way. But how can you acknowledge that those feelings are okay in the right setting, and allow that to encourage you? Don't let no one criticize you for that, because at the end of the day, you're measuring your life based on your goals and your standards. But to take it to the matters deeper, the standards that God has set for you. Be encouraged by that. Be encouraged by how your emotions, your mindset, and how countercultural it is of what acknowledging and being honest with yourself is. And it's just going to set you free in all the other endeavors that will transform your life. I'm sure you can relate on how we all feel the need to just fit in, or feel the need to just do whatever it is to be safe or blend in. But the truth of the matter is, God wants us to be set apart from those, and from being like other people, and that starts with just being honest and holding yourself accountable in the sense of, what is it that I want to do in my life? What is it that I need to improve in my life? And where do I want to be, in my life, a certain amount of time, or where do I want to be now? You start to just have self-awareness, which is a major element to being honest with yourself, because you begin to take notice of your habits, take notice of your mindset. You start to take notice of just your environment and how things around you affect your life for better or for worse. And when I came across that term a few years ago in a more deeper way, I made it my screensaver for about a year plus, because I wanted that constant reminder of the fact that everything comes from me being conscious about my actions and all the other things that come from me, essentially. And that was a scary process for me, because a lot of times I was running for myself. I was just running because I didn't want to truly face and look myself in the mirror in regards to areas that I knew I could do better in. But I was just rationalizing, saying like, man, I'm working hard, I'm focusing, I'm not being reckless with my time, or etc. So I was just telling myself all these things just to continue to not face up to me not being obedient to what God was calling me to do. I was wanting to do it my way, and your way is the hard way. And as soon as you realize that, you'll begin to just surrender to God's plan, and begin to do the groundwork that is required to transform your life, and choosing not to sabotage yourself, choosing not to even blame yourself, but just to take extreme ownership. There's a book by Jocko Willenick. It's a really profound read that is centered along those lines of, no matter what's happening in your life, taking extreme ownership, which I can translate to this video of, all right, what are some things that I am not doing right? Self-reflecting, looking yourself in the mirror, and noticing like, maybe I haven't been as truthful as I want to be. Maybe I haven't been given all the effort and dedication that I need to give. And even being accountable with the time you spend with God as a true measure for you to realize how your faith really is going to unlock more parts of yourself that you never imagined. And what also helped me on this journey of being honest with myself is having people around me that spoke truthfully to me, and not per se cared about like my feelings, but just was completely honest with me, because that allowed me to be honest with myself, and allowed to see that, wow, these people cared enough to tell me of these areas that I need to work on. And it just further cemented. So just having the right people around you that are not going to just be yes people, but people that challenge you to be better than you were yesterday, today, and tomorrow. And I love this just quote that I live by, is like, you're not competing with others, you're competing versus yourself. And that just equates to being authentic. And what is authenticity? Authenticity is just a deeper form of honesty that is lived throughout. It's not just momentarily. It's a life fundament process all your decision makings through to be that person you want to be. So being honest is very important. And like, for instance, I know a lot of you out there, you guys have dreams, goals, and ambitions that you want to do, but just not looking at your circumstances holistically and realistically about, all right, maybe I have to work more. I have to juggle more things to be in a different position of where I want to be. So it's just looking at those things and understanding that it's a process. And with that being said, I would encourage you guys to just start applying those small forms of honesty in different areas of your life. Say, beginning with, say, your parents, for instance. Say if you guys have a relationship where you're just not honest with them about what you want to do in life, and there's also a way that you communicate those things, or being honest with maybe how they made you feel, or, and this doesn't have to just pertain to parents, it can pertain to any people you have in your life, of just knowing like, all right, I'm not going to pretend anymore. I'm going to confront the situation and address the situation in complete authenticity. And it can just start with one small conversation at a time. And then that can turn back onto you as far as giving you more confidence and more assurance that there's benefits. There's benefits in me being honest with myself, because it's allowing me to have a realistic measure of growth that can continue to be compounded, that would lead to me transforming as a better person. So I hope this video provided value, and until next time.